Have you ever wondered what happens when crime transcends borders and becomes a global phenomenon? Well, the Abergil brothers navigated the shadows of organized crime for decades. From their roots in Israel, Meir and Yitzhak Abergil had control over illicit enterprises, leaving a permanent mark on international crime operations. So, join us in unraveling the gripping story of their ascent and downfall. In the busy city of Ramat Gan, Israel, in the late 20th century, the Abergil brothers, Yaakov and Avi, laid the foundation for what would later become a notorious criminal empire in the 1990s. The Abergil Organization, operating in the 1990s, wasn't an ordinary gang. It was involved in drug trafficking, money laundering, and extortion. Their method of operation wasn't mild. Violence was their main tool to stay powerful in the crime world they inhabited. The organization's history is marked by murders with brutal crimes, reflecting the harsh reality of its operations. Yet, behind this face of brutality lies a sophisticated organization. The Abergil machine is finely tuned, with a structure that extends its reach across borders. Operating on a global scale, its influence stretched into multiple countries, leaving law enforcement agencies grappling with the challenge of dismantling this intricate web of crime. The early 2000s marked a turning point. The relentless pursuit of justice caught up with the Abergil brothers. In 2005, Yaakov found himself behind bars in Israel, eventually extradited to the United States, where he faced the weight of drug trafficking charges, earning him a 32-year prison sentence. Avi, too, met a similar fate in 2008, facing charges of drug trafficking and money laundering, ultimately pleading guilty and receiving a 10-year sentence. However, the tale doesn't end with the incarceration of its leaders. The Abergil Organization is thought to still be active, hiding in the shadows, with its influence felt in Israel and other places. As the law closed in, a new part of the story unfolded. Yitzhak and Meir Abergil assumed the leadership of the criminal group and were running a profitable scheme to clean money in the U.S. They were using stolen money from the Israel Trade Bank, causing a lot of financial problems and forcing people to give up their businesses by lending them money and then threatening them. You see, Yitzhak's involvement in a criminal lifestyle began at a very young age. He started shoplifting and stealing food when he was just 3 years old. Allegedly, by the age of 5 or 6, he was already hiding guns, drugs, and grenades for dealers and gangsters, using shapes to identify whose belongings were whose. By the age of 12, Yitzhak had progressed to running a stash house where he sold hashish and heroin alongside his brother. At 14, he was smuggling drugs into jail for another brother. It was also at 14 that he repeatedly shot someone for the first time, a 33-year-old who had denied him entry to a recreation center or a teen party because he was wearing shorts. Meanwhile, the Abergil brothers wanted to grow their operations, so they partnered with the Vineland Boys, a Latino street gang in Los Angeles. This partnership resulted in a drug business that landed them on the U.S. State Department's list of top 40 drug importers. They oversaw the transportation of cocaine and hashish from Europe to the United States. In the middle of all these crimes, there were some violent incidents. A number of fatalities occurred, including attempts on Yitzhak Abergil's life. Conflicts with figures such as Zev Rosenstein and the Alperon crime family added layers of complexity to the narrative. The Abergil family is suspected of being involved in the death of Sami Atias, the killing of innocent girls in Ramle, and connections to various crimes, creating a dark picture of a crime group caught up in a web of violence and betrayal. The Abergil crime organization's story is intense and multi-layered, with assassinations, internal conflicts, and international intrigue. In August 2008, their influence reached Bat Yam's boardwalk, resulting in the tragic death of 31-year-old social worker Margarita Lautin. The targets linked to the Abergil group were trying to escape gunfire, accidentally putting Lautin in the line of fire. 2 alleged assassins, Ronen ben Adi and Shimon Sabah, who were part of the Abergil mob, fled on a motorcycle but were later caught. Sabah got a 7-year prison sentence when Ben Adi faced life imprisonment and had to pay significant compensation to Lautin's daughters. The reason for the shooting was a complicated internal disagreement involving Rami Amira, who survived the attack but later died in 2011, likely at the hands of the Abergil Organization. Despite the Abergil brothers being in detention in the United States, criminal activities persisted, adding a mysterious twist to the already complex story. The Abergil network's influence went beyond Israel, with key figures facing legal consequences internationally. Gabi bin Harosh, a partner of the Abergil brothers, faced legal issues in Los Angeles in 2004, but ended up signing a plea deal 2 years later for minor offenses. Attempts to pressure him into accusing the Abergil brothers reportedly did not succeed. Hai Vaknin, known as an Abergil henchman, was arrested in the U.S. in 2006. His plea deal in 2011 revealed insights into money laundering practices to point fingers at Yitzhak and Meir Abergil. The intricate details of loans and extortion, as explained by Vaknin, became a crucial part of the legal puzzle. In 2008, a significant year for the Abergil brothers, they were arrested on suspicion of involvement in Margarita Lautin's murder. Later, they were also linked to the killing of Israeli drug dealer Sami Atias in 2003. The possibility of extradition to the U.S. loomed large, with a 77-page indictment outlining charges ranging from murder to running an ecstasy ring in Los Angeles. In a legal match, the Abergil brothers and their friends were sent to the U.S. for trial after the Jerusalem District Court agreed in 2009. On January 12, 2011, Yitzhak and Meir Abergil, along with their pals, were taken to the U.S. to face many charges. The big trial was supposed to happen in November 2011, and they could have gotten life in prison. But the U.S. promised not to give them the death penalty, adding another strange twist to the story. Amidst all the legal trouble, the Abergil crime group appeared to keep operating in Israel. Moti Hassin, a well-known member, supposedly took charge when the Abergil brothers went absent. The group stayed active with their activities, including attacks, arrests, and failed plans. Meanwhile, in May 2012, Yitzhak Abergil pled guilty to racketeering in the U.S., and received a 10-year sentence for distributing ecstasy and being involved in a murder related to a drug theft. Moshe Malul, associated with the Abergil family, confessed to conspiracy and received a 15-year sentence for hiring gang members to avenge a drug theft. Another member, Israel Osifa, got 8 years for importing ecstasy, and Sasson Barashi, found guilty of racketeering, served 4.5 years. Their legal journeys illustrate a complicated network of criminal activities, plea bargains, and the consequences of their actions. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Abergil criminal network. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.